want to talk briefly this morning. I hope it's going to be briefly. It's early and I have to go to work. But I'm obligated to do this because it's something that I haven't spoken on or spoken about for a while, haven't touched on, and it's critical. It's critical to what we are about, what Gorilla with a Cause is. What Gorilla with a Cause is. Now, make no mistake, I don't have any illusions. There are damn near less than, how many, where are we at? 500 more people or so, I don't know, less than that, and we'll be at, or around that, around-ish, a little more. Anyway, we'll be at 40,000 subscribers now. I don't propose to suggest to you that we have 40,000 kindred folk here who are, solid, legit Gorilla with a Cause believers who are kindred with us and believe what we're about, really believe. But I know we have thousands and thousands that are. Now think about that. Let that sink in for a minute if you're among those thousands and thousands. If you're not, then, yeah, hey, cool, you subscribe. Hey, cool, it's another YouTube channel. Whatever, maybe if you hang around long enough, something will sink into you, something will touch you, something will relate to you in some way that you'll realize that we're a little more than that. And to the thousands that are actual certified, verified, full bore Gorilla with a Cause, real members and participants and actively engaged out there in the world and in society and trying to spread the beliefs that we espouse. And they're not only our beliefs, we don't own them, okay? We're just a collective, of kindred people, kindred spirits who believe that that there's merit and there's value in trying to become a more humane human being. It used to be, why do I use the word humane in description of a characteristic that human beings should best develop or best occupy or display? Well, because it goes without saying that, humane, that should describe, right, the practices of human beings, but it doesn't anymore. It doesn't anymore. I think people forget that part, the humane, part of being a human being. Anyway, so to the thousands that are, part of what we do, and like I said, we don't own these principles or morals or beliefs. We just are a collective of kindred people who share this in common. And one of the big things is, the shirts, the hats, beanies, whatever we have. That stuff is the primary function that serves is to get the message out and enable us to identify each other more easily. Yeah, think about that for a minute. There are enough of us now that I have gone places and run into people, unannounced, places nobody knew I was going to be there. I wasn't there for the exclusive purpose of hoping to run into somebody from our collective, but I've run into people because I've seen people wearing the shirt. I've seen people wearing no bystander on their back and, called up to them and said, hey, and they knew who I was, but that's how we can identify each other most easily. If you're in the gyms, we all like to train, work out. That's not a prerequisite. If you don't work out and you've never even been inside of a gym and you haven't even ever picked up a dumbbell or a barbell or any other thing, that's fine and well. It's not a prerequisite. It's just something we all share. I actually know people who are part of our movement, our collective, that have been engaged long before they ever saw the inside of a gym or long before they even began to work out. And they came to working out through their involvement with Gorilla with a Cause, the organization, because of the things that we espouse, that we do, the outreach things, the people who had a similar interest and it appealed to them or touched them in some way, motivated and moved them, that they wanted to take part. And they did, and then they began to train with us after some time. but it's not a prerequisite. It's just something we share and like to do. But that's one of the key things, the shirts and the logo and things. It helps us to identify each other, and it helps other people here who see us and are aware of what we represent or hope to represent, strive to represent. If they are in need, if they feel alone, if they feel oppressed and dejected or broken or whatever the hell it is, and they don't feel they have anybody, if they see this, if they're afraid, whatever it might be. Like I've told you, if you see this logo, I wish I could get this out there. I wish, if I didn't even monetize this video, I wish the hell it would go viral, just so that more people could be aware that you see that logo, then you've got a friend right there. There's somebody that has the obligation on their back that they are their brother's keeper. Or they hope to be, or they're trying to be. They care enough that they would like to be, that they're there for you. And that's the whole of it. We are our brother's keeper. And I think I'm going to have another shirt. I think I'm going to make a new shirt in the next month or two. And it's going to say my brother's keeper across the back. It'll be a gorilla with a call shirt. Why? Because they're making us rich? Yeah, hell no. Just like the YouTube channel, this YouTube shit makes us rich? No, it doesn't. You know how little money we make from YouTube? I mean, you can see my practices, how frequently I put videos up, not, and how important it really is to me to try and make money off of YouTube. Now, does that mean that I'm not going to monetize videos? No, of course I'm going to monetize videos. And if they demonetize them or whatever, so be it, it's not a huge thing. But the little bit of money that we can take in goes towards offsetting. It doesn't finance jack shit. It goes towards offsetting the personal expenses that we put out there, to feed people, to do things for people, to give people that need money, because unfortunately money makes the society go around as far as staples and just things that you need to exist and survive. Roof over your head in most cases, food to eat, clothing on your back, etc., etc. So however we can serve and however we can help or assist, we try to. I try to. It's how I live. And the whole point to this video is all of these things, but mainly brotherhood, the importance and the obligation of brotherhood and sisterhood. When I say brotherhood, I'm talking about the brotherhood of man, which the brotherhood of humans, which could be, you can be female, you can be male. It doesn't make any difference. The obligation of brotherhood is that if you recognize our connection and if you feel this way, you are obligated. You are obligated to realize that brotherhood and to be available. Take the blinders off and be available to each other. Let no man stand alone. None are lesser and none are greater. You understand? Doesn't matter what you look like, doesn't matter how tall or short you are, what you weigh, or what your body composition is, or like I've said before, it doesn't matter if you roll, or if you walk, or if you limp, or any of these things. None of this shit matters. Doesn't matter at all. What's inside of you? The ghost in the machine. That's what matters. And I got an email from a brother, and man, it really moved me. I'm not, it sounds corny, but something compelled me to get up. I got up. I need my sleep. I'm an old guy. I got up at like 3:30 this morning. That's hella early for me. And I came downstairs. I just had to look at my email. And I haven't really been looking at my email for about the past week because I've just been back to work. I'm very busy. I'm being careful with my midsection so that my abs all heal up and my abdominal cavity where they sewed it back together and shit heals up or whatever. And a lot been going on, feeling out my new diet, etc., etc. I haven't been able to train. I'm kind of bummed about that shit because it is a great stress reliever for me. But something compelled me to get up and look at that email. It was like of paramount importance that I just look at it. So I figured I'll have a cup of tea. So I had a little cup of tea so that I could get back to sleep, which never happened. And I opened the email, and lo and behold, there were some important things that I needed to address. And one of those things is a brother wrote to me, and he just feels alone, like crushingly so. He doesn't feel a valid, genuine connection to his family or any friends or anything like that. He feels alone, and he sometimes has felt that it would be better off if he were not here. But he said there's no danger in him harming himself. He knows that's not the way, not for him. But he asks, God, why me? Why do I have to be alone? Why am I saddled with this this extreme loneliness, this just feeling? And I told him, brother, you're not alone. You're not alone. He had been watching the videos, and he thought that if anybody understood or anybody really cared, that it might be me, we. And so he emailed, and he was right. And so this is why now I'm stressing, that don't forget, if you're wearing the shirt, you are accepting the obligation. Now, I'm not saying that you see somebody that's in need that you're going to be able to provide 100% everything that they need. That's not expected, and it's not realistic. And needs can be filled in many ways. Someone may need a friend. And the very least, is that's your obligation. That's your obligation. No one has to be alone. If they're alone and you know it, then that's your obligation. That's the obligation of brotherhood. You need to befriend that person. Let that person know that there's somebody that cares. There's more than somebody. There are people who care, but you're the man on the job. You're the first responder. You're the one that's there. You're the one that's present. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Ask yourself that. If you see these things around you, if you see this, what are you going to do? Don't look at it and wonder who will fix this. How will this ever be fixed or solved or remedied? Or is anybody going to do anything about this? Or will somebody else do this, or will they do that? No, there is no one else. There's you. You realize it. You understand. What are you going to do? You see somebody drowning, are you going to let them drown? You see somebody dying, you see somebody hurting, you see somebody bleeding, are you going to walk by? Well, just because you don't see blood coming from an open wound doesn't mean someone's not in pain, doesn't mean somebody's not hurting, doesn't mean that you're not needed. You're needed. See, that's the other part of it. You have to understand. You're needed. You have something that can be of benefit to someone in need, someone that's hurting. You can relieve that pain. You can try. That's what it all comes down to. It's a try. You can try. Nothing succeeds like trying. You can try. So, wear the shirt, wear the hat. If you're that broke and you really want to represent, contact me or Val, contact us, and let me know and send me your address, and I will send you a shirt or a hat or a cap or, beanie or something. I will send you something. I will. Because money doesn't buy brotherhood. But do what you can do. But do that. Do that. Don't leave it for somebody else. Don't think that some other passerby is going to take care of it. Make it your job. You do it. And now I know there's people watching this thinking, oh, screw you. That's not my problem. I, have enough on my shoulders. I this, I that. Don't watch this video then. Turn this shit off now. Don't waste any more of your precious time. Don't sacrifice your time hearing me ramble. Watching one of my I've been described as pretty boring videos. Go find something else to occupy yourself with But if you recognize the need, then be the solution. Be the solution. You do it. You be the engine. You be the locomotive that's pulling that train. You do it. Because you have that power. You have that ability. And remember, none are greater and none are lesser. It can just be a kind word of support. It can be a pat on the back. It can be a smile. It can be all kinds of things. That's up to you. But try and remember, if you can, please, the obligation of brotherhood. It's what we've got. Maybe it's all we've got.